In January of 1996, something happened in a quiet Brazilian city that was never supposed to leave the ground, never supposed to be seen, and never supposed to be remembered. Multiple witnesses, military deployments in broad daylight, hospital lockdowns, a police officer dead within weeks, and a series of official explanations that never fully accounted for what the people of Varginha say they encountered. This is not a story about lights in the sky. This is a story about what happens when something comes down and everyone is told to look away. In January of 1996, the city of Varginha, located in the southern region of Minas Gerais, Brazil, was an unremarkable inland community known primarily for agriculture and routine military activity. That changed abruptly in the early hours of January 20th, when a series of unusual events began to unfold across the city and its outskirts, setting the stage for what would become one of the most widely discussed UFO cases in modern history. Shortly after midnight, residents reported unusual lights in the sky. Witnesses described a cigar-shaped or cylindrical object moving erratically. Several accounts stated that the object appeared damaged or unstable, emitting smoke before disappearing behind the hills surrounding the city. These early sightings were not immediately connected, but they would later become central to the narrative. Later that same day, around mid-afternoon, three young women, Lillian, Katia, and Valkyria, encountered something far more tangible. While walking through a vacant lot in the Jardim Ander district, they observed a small humanoid figure crouched near a wall. The being was described as roughly 4 feet tall, with brown or oily skin, a disproportionately large head, red eyes, and visible ridges or bumps on its skull. All three witnesses reacted with immediate fear and fled the area. The young women reported intense distress following the encounter. Family members later stated that the girls were visibly shaken and consistent in their descriptions when recounting what they had seen. News of the encounter spread rapidly through the neighborhood, drawing attention from residents who began reporting additional strange activity. Within hours, military presence in the city increased noticeably. Witnesses reported multiple army trucks moving through Varginha and nearby areas, including vehicles associated with the Brazilian army and the military police. Some residents claimed to see soldiers searching wooded areas and cordoning off specific locations. One of the most frequently cited events occurred later that evening, when witnesses reported the capture of a similar creature by military personnel. Accounts described soldiers using nets or blankets to restrain a being that appeared weak or injured. This alleged capture reportedly took place near the Jardim Ander area, though exact locations vary between testimonies. After all those reports, people started spotting military trucks rolling in, hauling sealed crates and containers to local hospitals and military spots. The regional hospital of Varginha seemed to be the hotspot. Hospital staff even mentioned that some areas got shut down real quick and were guarded by armed folks. A key figure in the case was military police officer Marco Eli Cheres. According to testimony from colleagues and family members, Cheres was involved in the handling or transport of a captured creature. Within days, he developed a severe infection characterized by abscesses and systemic complications. Less than a month after the alleged incident, Marco Eli Cheres died. Official records list the cause of death as a generalized bacterial infection. No autopsy report confirming exposure to an unknown organism has ever been released publicly, and medical authorities maintained that his illness was unrelated to any unusual event. Meanwhile, the Brazilian military issued statements denying the existence of extraterrestrial beings. Officials attributed the sightings to misidentified individuals with disabilities, animals, or even a pregnant dwarf mistaken under stressful conditions. These explanations were met with skepticism, particularly due to inconsistencies between official statements and eyewitness accounts. The military also acknowledged the movement of equipment and personnel, but explained it as routine operations. Officials denied transporting any non-human entities and stated that no unusual materials were recovered. Despite these denials, journalists, civilians, and later civilian ufologists continued gathering testimony. Several doctors, soldiers, and hospital staff spoke anonymously over the years, claiming they were instructed not to discuss what they had seen. While these statements remain unverified, their consistency has kept the case alive. No physical evidence, such as photographs, biological samples, or official documents, has ever been released to conclusively confirm the presence of extraterrestrial beings. However, no definitive evidence has emerged to fully explain all reported events either. Over time, the Brazilian Air Force acknowledged that unidentified aerial phenomena are real, in the sense that not all sightings can be explained. But it has never officially linked this acknowledgement to the Varginha case. Investigations by civilian researchers, including interviews conducted years later, revealed that many witnesses have never recanted their testimony. The 3 women involved in the original encounter have consistently maintained their account, despite public scrutiny. As years passed, Varginha itself became closely associated with the incident. The city eventually embraced its notoriety, installing alien-themed statues and incorporating the event into local tourism and identity. To this day, the Varginha incident remains unresolved. No official conclusion has reconciled the aerial sightings, humanoid encounter reports, military movements, and subsequent death of a police officer into a single, fully documented explanation. What remains is a case defined by credible eyewitness testimony, official denials, missing documentation, and unanswered questions, elements that continue to fuel discussion decades later. Within the global UFO and disclosure community, Varginha is often referred to as Brazil's Roswell. The comparison arises not from identical evidence, but from similar patterns: civilian sightings, alleged recovery operations, rapid military response, and long-standing official denial. Let's dig into some interesting and fun facts about this crazy incident. The 3 witnesses were initially reluctant to speak publicly and did not seek attention or financial gain. Varginha later installed a flying saucer-shaped water tower and alien statues as civic landmarks. The case prompted one of the largest civilian UFO investigations in Brazilian history. Brazil is among the countries that have officially declassified portions of its UFO files, though none definitively resolved the events in Varginha that January day. The incident occurred just months after Brazil hosted major military exercises involving international forces, adding to speculation at the time. Despite its notoriety, no legal case or formal inquiry ever concluded that a hoax occurred. What happened in Varginha was not a single moment, but a chain of events, independent witnesses describing the same thing, a rapid and visible military response, sealed medical facilities, shifting official explanations, and a case that was never formally resolved. No document has closed the file. No evidence has conclusively disproven the testimonies, and no explanation has ever accounted for every detail. Whether viewed as an extraordinary encounter or a profound failure of transparency, the Varginha incident stands as one of the most compelling modern cases where ordinary people insist they encountered something beyond human experience. For those willing to consider the possibility, Varginha invites a larger question. Not just are we alone, but how often might encounters be quietly contained, explained away, or forgotten? Stories like this endure because they sit at the edge of certainty and imagination, where facts, fear, and belief intersect. It's in that space that curiosity lives, and where the truth, whatever it may be, continues to wait. Thank you for tuning in to They Are Watching Us. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're as into UFOs and all that cool disclosure stuff as I am, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. It really helps me keep the good content coming your way on this super fascinating topic. Seriously, I appreciate it so much. Catch you later.